life because there are so many things that comes as an interference upon them. And because there are so many things that comes as interference upon them, they've not been able to truly understand. Why do I feel the way that I feel? What is it that brings the waves of emotions that I feel inside of me? Why does my emotion don't correlate with my mind? Why is it that I think to do one thing, but my emotion pushes me to another thing? This and more are the questions that humans have always asked themselves since time immemorial, but they've not been able to have a right answer. And because they've not been able to have a right answer, the reason why is because we live in a society whereby humans are told to stiffen their emotion. You need to cut off your emotion because your emotion is that which makes you weak. And because we live in a society where people are told to cut off their emotion because they believe that their emotion is what makes them weak, their emotion is what, condemns them. Living in such a society, humans struggle, and hence life becomes a pretense. When a child is born, for the first 6 months of the child's life, the child is under the care of nature. Irrespective of how much time the parents are going to feed the child, clean the child, nourish the child, but everything about the upbringing of the child is under the care of the universal nurse, which is called nature. To the age of 1 year old, that child is under nature, for nature is instinctively, subtly guiding the child on the way for the child to grow and how it is that the child is supposed to be. And because the child is under nature, nature deposits into that child all that the child needs, requires to be able to function. The emotions in a human get developed as from the age of 13 to the age of 21. As from the age of 13, the emotions comes upon the human being. He feels different kinds of emotion. Now he starts struggling within himself with the emotions that is rising inside of him. Why am I feeling these emotions? He struggles with himself because on one side are the people, which are the parents and the society that he looks up to for guidance, telling him to cut off his emotions by shouting on him or her. Why are you behaving like this? Why are you thinking like this? Why can't you think for yourself? Don't you see how it is? And hence the child is struggling within himself. Why am I having these desires inside of me? Why do I feel like talking? Why do I feel like having sexual relationship? Why do I feel the cravings? Why do I feel this? Now it becomes a mumbled up, jumbled up thing that is going on in the mind and in the thought of the child. And because the child is unable to truly understand what is happening inside of her or him, that becomes a psychological disorder that stays with the child to the age of 65. And because a psychological disorder that stays in the child to the age of 65, it becomes that which the child is also not able to understand. A lot of us, we are brilliant, but because we've lived in a society where we are told to cut off our emotion and not give a proper channel to the emotion, that becomes a disorder, a mental disorder, a psychological disorder inside of us that we struggle with. And because it becomes a psychological disorder inside of us that we struggle with, we are not able to truly know how to even guide another person. We are not able to sit in comfort with ourselves and truly process, why am I having these emotions? Your emotions is not the same as your mind. Your mind is the place where your emotions goes to play. Let me make it clear for everybody to understand. Can I put this here? No, I can't. Your emotions is the place, is the playground. Sorry, your mind is the playground of your emotion. What does it mean? My mind is the playground of my emotion. Yes, your mind is the playground of your emotion, because every emotion that you have, your mind is what is giving it an image that intensifies it. Emotions are created by so many things: sensation, voice, sound, seeing, touching, feeling. And because all of these emotions are created by this different stimulant that is always around you, your mind only gives the right impressions to the different stimulants that you see. Now you see something in your face, your mind gives it a color. Your mind gives it vibrance. Your mind is like the saturation. Like when you are editing a picture or you are making a video and you are editing it, your mind is the editing factors that can help you to do what? Increase the saturation, decrease the saturation, increase the vibrancy of what it is that is being made, or reduce the vibrancy, the blackness, the whiteness, the light, add it more light, reduce more light from it. That is just the mind. So if that is the mind, then all that we are looking at, everything that is around you, is that which is helping you to truly grow with your connection to the divine. But because we've lived in a society whereby shut off your emotion, you must understand, the question you should ask yourself is, why does this come into me? From where? What is the origin of this? For when a man does not ask himself a question as, what is the origin of what I am feeling? Such a man becomes blind. We live in a society whereby teachers, philosophical teachers, religion, that is supposed to help you to give a meaning to your emotion, tells you to cut off your emotion. It is bad. Your emotion is bad. And because religion tells you that your emotion is bad, oh, you are feeling like this, it is bad. Oh no, you cannot go to God because you are feeling like that. Then the question you should ask yourself is, why did God make it possible for me to have all of this inside of me? This is what makes a lot of people to struggle in their spiritual practice. Because on one side is the rules and regulation that tells you this is bad, 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 this is evil. And on one side are your emotions that are pulling you left, right, center. Left, right, center. Why? It is only when you've been able to give a proper understanding and first of all, you must have a proper understanding as to why these emotions are there on you. For when these proper understandings aren't there as to why these emotions are coming up on you, such an individual becomes a human with a dead emotion. And yes, there are humans with dead emotions. Your emotions are steps for true spiritual growth. For when you understand that your emotions are steps, ladders for true spiritual growth, then you will truly be able to know how to utilize it. The ancient Greeks, one of the reasons I kind of like love some of the philosophies of the ancient Greek, because when you look at their philosophy, it tells you do not cut off your emotion. Rather, give your emotion a meaning. For every emotion that comes to you, it has a meaning. There is a reason why the emotions is coming to you. So do not cut it off. Rather, give it a meaning. And the easiest way people give their emotion a meaning is through art. So they make art. Because everything about art, movie, painting, dancing, running, it's all emotion. Meaning what? An emotion that is stirring up inside that needs a direct output. It needs a direction. So when the humans start understanding that their emotion is a ladder at which they can truly grow spiritually, and not that which is condemning them. Your emotion does not condemns you from gaining the mercy of God. Although a lot of people put it that, oh, you have a bad emotion, so it is condemning you from getting the mercy of God. Your emotion does not condemn you from gaining the mercy of God. Rather, your emotion truly shows you the form and the way at which you can get the mercy of God. And yes, a lot of us, we all have different types of emotions. Some of us, we have emotions that on the material point of view, on the logical point of view, it is very, very bad. Yeah. Some of us, we have certain emotions that on the material point of view, it is seen as very bad because some of the emotions are like dark. Some of them are very, very evil. But then we must understand that if for an emotion to rise to that point of being very evil, it is a form of creative outlet. For when emotions are not given a creative outlet, it becomes very demonic and very bad. Because it becomes very suppressed and 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 suppressed. And what happens? Boom! It turns into negative, extreme negative. There is no emotion that starts as extreme positive. Extreme negative. It starts positively. But when it is not given a direct outlet, when everything outside is telling it, shut it off, 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 shut it off. The parents are shouting on the child. The society is shouting on the child. The environment is shouting on the child. Shut it off, 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 shut it off. Then it starts gradually transmuting or transforming into something that is dangerous. And this is the way a human being can actually go into what is called a spiritual suicide. A man that shut off his emotion is spiritually dead. We live in a society whereby it is said that the more you don't laugh, the less emotion you have, the more spiritual you have. That is not true. We live in a society whereby people gravitize and respect those that are spiritual zombies. Whereby to be spiritual or people see that those that are spiritually or emotionally strong or intellectually strong, and those people that don't smile, their face is just, there's no smile on their face. So the more there is no smile on your face, the more intellectual you are seen. And when you are always smiling all the time, the less intellectual you see. That is the society that we live. The society is such a society that if you smile all the time, you are seen as a dull person. And if you don't smile all the time, whereby your face is just always, bitchy and, just shrewd up, then people see like, wow, this must be a very smart, intellectual person. That is the society that we live in. And unfortunately, this is the way it has always been. And hence, if you look into all Oriental cultures, just a minute. If you look into all Oriental cultures, all cultures of the Orient, you will see that there is a lot of abundance of art in the Oriental cultures. If you go into Asia, Asia Minor, all forms of Asia, you will see that what? There is an abundance of what? There is an abundance of art in these countries and in these nations. Why is there an abundance of art in these nations? Because that is what gives an expression to your emotion. And art is also a form of worship of the divine. For a man that knows how to process his emotions in art is a man that is connected to the infinite intelligence, is a man that is connected to what? To the universe. I'm going to stop here.